Top 3 scary stories that'll keep you up tonight. TikTok user Chop the Bouncer said that he's a security supervisor in Buffalo, New York. One night, he was doing one of his patrols in a neighborhood town called Burt, New York. He was driving down a country road when he saw what he originally thought was a deer in the road. He slammed on the brakes to avoid hitting it. He looked at it closely and he realized that it wasn't a deer. He said that it had the fur of a deer, a sickly skinny body and limbs, a round head like a human, and a snout like a dog. It then let out a blood-curdling scream and ran into the woods. He said that he pulled a U-turn and decided to check on sites in the city instead. One of my TikTok followers who wants to remain anonymous said that when she was a freshman in high school, her and her friends bought a Ouija board. Now, she said that she knew that as a Catholic, she shouldn't be playing with one, as the Catholic Church considers it a form of divination that can open up doorways for demonic spirits. One night, she and her friends, 2 girls and 1 guy, were sitting in her driveway, and they began playing with it and asking it questions. One of them asked it if someone was going to die, and the Ouija board answered yes. Then, all of the sudden, the whole Ouija board levitated and flew about 24 feet into the middle of the street. She and her friends panicked and screamed. Her guy friend then picked up the Ouija board and they decided to throw it away. Following this incident, creepy stuff started happening. She would hear a lady crying around the house, and when she asked her family members, they would say they didn't hear it. Later on, her little sister started to hear footsteps in her room at night when she turned off the light. She would turn her light back on and there would be no one there. Then, shockingly, as if things couldn't get any worse, about 2 weeks after the Ouija board incident, her guy friend who had picked it up after it flew into the middle of the street died in a car accident. Reddit user Alakatson said that she and her friends were driving her really old beat-up Subaru through a massive graveyard. They stopped, walked down a hill, and came across a little pond. They noticed that there was someone sitting on a rock on the other side of the pond. The figure was all black and they couldn't make out any features, other than the fact that it looked like a man who was wearing some old-style top hat. She said that they stupidly waved and shouted hi. All of the sudden, he jumped to his feet and started running towards them on the water. Then, he vanished into thin air about halfway down the pond. She and her friends screamed and ran back to her car. The car wouldn't start though, and they heard something banging on the back of it. It wasn't a constant bang, but every few seconds or so they would hear it. Nobody was outside from what they could see in the dark, but something was making a noise on the car. She opened her phone and started dialing her mom to come give them a boost, but she had no cell service. None of them had any cell service. The next 30 minutes were spent trying to get the car started. No banging sound was heard afterwards, but they felt this giant pressure around them. Finally, the car started and she hit the pedal to the metal. They sped out of the graveyard. Immediately after crossing the gates, all of their phones regained cell service. She said that one thing she knows for certain is that someone or something was out there, and it was not a human or an animal.